Howdy, Ken Cook here with Prepared Marketing's Growth Prep Talks. I'm joined today by our special guest, Brighton West, with Authentic West Films. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today.
I am glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
It's kind of the first time we've had like someone who actually knows YouTube here, so I'm a little bit nervous just because I know that you're going to go back through this and say he did this wrong and this. It's going to be a case study on your channel, essentially.
There we go. Yeah.
Well,
we'll get a little better each time. That's the whole idea.
That is what. Well, so we kind of blend two things. We anything worth doing is worth doing poorly.
Yep.
And then we also want to take Peter Shankman's one step above crap. So as long as it's those two things and they're working together, we're good to go.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to add to that. I'm going to say next week you need to be 2 steps above crap.
Well, fair point. Fair point.
So sooner or later you're going to get to the top, but right. You start
where we are now.
Exactly. Yep.
So tell us a little bit about Authentic West Films.
So what we do is we work with coaches, typically coaches who are authors and speakers who want to, I say, get found on the world's biggest stage, which is YouTube. So 30 million people a day are watching YouTube. They're going there in search of answers, and many of the questions that they have are addressed by life coaches or business coaches or things like that. So I'm helping them get their content there and having it work.
Okay. How did you get into this?
Really, I've been playing with YouTube since 2006, so about the beginnings of YouTube, and doing a lot of documentary and just comedy videos. Okay. And I had a web series, and it was pretty successful. And people started asking me, saying, like, how do I do that? And I said, if people are asking me a question, I should be able to sell my knowledge. And yeah. I'm not selling my knowledge to the people who were asking the question then, but it took a couple of iterations, and I found the people I wanted to work with.
Okay. And how long has the company been open?
Yeah, so I've been doing this just over 2 years, I think. As a full-time, I did kind of the sidepreneur, half-time, worked way up, and then bring it to full-time.
Wow. I mean, that's, so you're almost halfway to 5, which is the big number. I mean, that's...
Halfway to 5?
Yeah, so 85% of small businesses close within 5 years. Ah. So if you can get it to 5 years, you're like, you win, basically.
Okay, crossing the fingers. So hopefully we'll have a better strategy than that, though.
Maybe. I don't know. It's gotten us to 5.5. So
there we go. Congratulations.
Thank you. So tell me, what motivates you? Why are you getting up every day to coach people to be better on YouTube? Like, I can't imagine as a kid you were like, you know what I really want to do? I want to coach people to be better on YouTube. Yes,
YouTube was not around when I was a kid. So I think what really drives me, I mean, there's a couple things that drive me. One is kind of the external. I love the idea of helping people, and I love the idea of helping people who help people. And so that it kind of like multiplies the effect of what a coach can do if they can spread their message on YouTube. And then the second thing is, I want to live location independently. Okay. So my wife and I, we moved down to San Diego for a couple months this winter. We're talking about moving to Hawaii next winter. And so I'm designing a business around the people that I want to work with and around the way that I want to work, which is completely internet-based.
Excellent. So what do you think the future is for businesses like this? I mean, is it going to get to a point where there's just so much information available for free on, oddly enough, YouTube that no one needs a coach anymore?
No, and I think that's the beauty of coaches, because most coaches actually are consultants and coaches, so they have some expertise. So really, when they're on YouTube, they're probably doing something that's closer to consulting. They're talking about their knowledge, and they're saying, hey, if you're a business owner and you need more productivity from your workers, do these 4 steps, which is a little more consulting. But coaching is much more interactive, asking questions and having the coachee come up with the answers. So I think coaching is going to become more popular because it's the way we interact, and we're losing that interaction with humans. So right. In the future, you want someone to ask you questions, you might have to pay for them.
That's a really good point. But I mean, seriously though, like this idea of coaches in a box. I mean, there's so much of this being marketed right now, right? Pay $2.99 and get this course or that course or whatever. How do you distinguish yourself as someone who actually knows what they're talking about?
I think the key is just producing the content. That is, I've seen people who try to just produce content to sell stuff versus producing content to help people. And if all you're doing is producing content to help people, then that expertise comes across and that sincerity comes across, and that's what divides the people out who are just trying to like pump out enough videos to make the algorithm show their video more often, and then hopefully get them to their website, versus just providing great value. And I think this is something that people get confused about in this if they're coming new to this world of YouTube, is giving away all the value for free. And the way I look at it is, I give away everything for free. But if you want it in order, with a course manual and worksheets and that, if you want to do it fast, you could go find all the stuff that I teach on my YouTube channel, but I just package it a heck of a lot better so that you can learn faster, and I deliver that value really succinctly when I sell a course.
Interesting. So what's really your unique value that you're bringing to the table? What is it that you do that no one else out there does right now?
Yeah, so I am, as far as I know, I'm the only person doing this service for coaches specifically. There's a lot of people out there who are working mostly with corporations, because corporations got big budgets. I have a friend who does it for Gillette and some software companies, where they're doing a lot of this work around big budget productions. So I'm kind of taking the same idea of how to produce content that people want to watch on YouTube, and also content that performs well on YouTube, bringing that down to the level of the small business, the coach.
Okay. Is it just coaches? Is it is it coaches, consultants?
Yeah, really. I guess this was an interesting thing in the beginning of my business. Was coming up with who do I want to work for, and originally I said something like, I work with small businesses that are subject matter experts in their industry and want to speak from the world's largest stage. It's a lot easier to say coaches.
Yeah.
And then if someone says, hey, well, I got a consultant that wants that. Yeah, consultants, same type of thing. Hypnotists, healers, coaches, consultants, therapists. Really anyone who's got an expertise that's in a kind of a how-to niche, so that if someone's on the internet saying, how do I get better at something, if you can answer that question, you could be my client.
Okay, very nice, excellent. So what would you say is a common misconception about coaching people to be great on YouTube?
Well, I mean, quite frankly, people don't know that they can even be coached to be great on YouTube.
Okay.
So they're kind of just posting and not knowing. I mean, there's kind of a magic formula behind YouTube, and we talked about it just for this video, that we changed up the way this video works because of the magic formula, to keep people watching. But there's a lot of that. So just people even knowing that there are people out there who are kind of YouTube experts that can provide that service to help them. And I do it both DIY and I do it for you. Okay. Where you can work with another videographer, get your videos recorded. I've got a client in Romania, he does that. They send them over to me. I do the strategy, kind of tell them the types of videos that are going to work, give them feedback, and then post them to YouTube and do all the optimization and whatnot.
Very cool. So let's talk about the more technical side for just a couple of minutes.
Sure.
So when you're looking at what makes a video effective or good, what are the main things you're looking for?
Wow, that's a great question. And the way I look at it, there's so many different things that each video can do.
Okay.
Ideally, with the way I work with coaches, they are selling some kind of product or service on their website.
Okay.
So the end goal is to get them off of YouTube and over to the website. So that's probably the goal for the channel, but it's not the goal for individual videos, because if that was successful, if you were successful, if everyone watching this video right now clicked on the end and went to your website, YouTube would stop showing this video to anyone.
Okay.
Because they know they leave YouTube. YouTube stops making money.
Right.
So it's kind of having a good mix there, but probably the most important thing is building that community. Sharing the value and getting people involved in your channel, so you're creating a group of people, a group of followers, or you're building your tribe. So that's kind of the most important thing to do. And then every once in a while you remind them that you've got products to sell over on the website.
Is it every video? Is it I mean, is there a formulaic way that you've seen, hey, this is how it works best? Every 7th video you've got to have a pitch kind of a thing?
I usually say every 1 in 4 should be a pitch. I think some of the other YouTube experts say you should be giving more value than that, 1 in 6 or something. But not everyone's going to take your call to action. And sometimes they're going to take the action you want, even if you don't tell them to take it. They're going to go down into the description and click the link. You got to make sure the link is clickable. But telling them specifically to do something and designing a video around that to say, hey, I'm going to tell you the first 3 steps of something, and the next 7 I've got on my website. Go ahead and get them over there.
Okay, very cool. So, are there specific data points or numbers, metrics that you look at and say, hey, this is good, this is bad, either on a channel level or on an individual video level?
Yeah, and I mean, YouTube is great. YouTube's owned by Alphabet, which is Google, and they have amazing analytics, and all this is given away for free. That's the beauty of this. They even pay people, they pay fewer people now than they did a couple months ago, because it's some little things there with YouTube and monetization. Yeah. But, so the analytics, though, you can go in there and look at any video and see, where's the traffic coming from? How old are people? How long are they watching? And something we talked about earlier that we changed up on this video is how quickly do they stop watching? So there's really a lot of things to think about there, but probably the most important one I would say is how long can you keep them watching? Okay. So out of your video, if you can keep 50% to the end, that's great. But if you're losing 75% in the first 5 seconds, that's a problem. Gotcha. And that's going to affect your whole channel. And really, all of that gets impacted by the content, the value of the content. So if you've got great, valuable content, you can keep them all watching. What is the #1 thing you do right now today to market your own business? So really, I wish I could say YouTube, and I do YouTube. I mean, that's probably the thing I do every week. Every week I share at least 1 video, maybe 2. But the thing that's working the best is public speaking. Okay. And getting in front of a conference where, ideally a national conference, where people have paid big bucks to be in that room. It shows that they're a business owner that's willing to pay to get into that room, so they've got a budget. Those have been the best source of my best clients have come from speaking engagements. Excellent. And how are you going about getting those speaking engagements? So a lot of it has to do with kind of like one to the next type of thing. If you do a good job, you often have someone in the audience who's like, hey, why don't you come to speak to my group? Or you're just making it known that you are a speaker. I mean, having a speaking page on your website, having a speaking reel, just so that it's possible if you come across something. And I usually just do an internet search for, call for speakers and just see if anything that's, in my realm is out there. And then, when you're a speaker at a conference, they usually give you the conference for free. If you're really good, they'll pay you, but it makes it worth it to go to a conference if you're a speaker, because you walk around with a speaker badge then. And so you've just got like VIP written all over you. You're able to speak to the crowd. So you're able to generate a lot of leads and way more than just being an attendee. Okay. And plus they paid for you to be there. So as you look at generating those leads, what do you do with them then? Oh my God, no, not this question. Yeah, this is actually, this is a good point. This is, Ken and I just met and we talked about this, and it was, I use HubSpot, and so I'm, essentially if I get a business card, I'm putting it in LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is coordinated with HubSpot, and I'm creating this is where I met them and whatnot, and then that's about it. Okay. So I have my marketing funnel is usually aggressive clients trying to find me. So I feel like if I knew how to do this better, this whole marketing thing, I might actually be able to close a heck of a lot more sales because I'm following up with people. I'm just really proud of myself for putting the business cards into the CRM. Hey, that is better than most. Like we talk about all the time, like how many business owners have a stack of business cards with a rubber band around them in the back of their desk drawer? Yep, right? And I must say I have that, but that's my old business cards from my old system, because I had Zoho. I didn't like Zoho. I didn't put anyone in there. Now the new practice is I come back from a networking event or a conference, and I just put them into LinkedIn. LinkedIn fills in all the data on CRM, on my CRM, and then the business card goes in the recycling bin because I don't want it around anymore. I've got their information.
Excellent. So how do you measure how well your company's doing?
So yeah, that's an interesting question too. I know you are a data guy, and I can totally appreciate that. But I mean, I have my KPIs that, you know, just kind of like a revenue and number of clients and things like that. But I think, you know, qualitatively, it's a little harder to gauge that. I guess what I should be doing is looking at my clients' KPIs, is saying, you know what, the quality of my work is reflected in their analytics, not my own. So that would be,
you know, what's funny is Cosmo, I hope you can link to this, but we just talked about this. So we do a roundtable every day we have a 360 camera, we set it up, and then we have chairs that we bring on here, and we just talk. And we were talking about that exact thing today, about how ridiculous it is that there's so many people who say, hey, we do a great job because I won this award or I won that award, instead of my clients got this award or that award. I mean, it's those kinds of things that personally drives me nuts. I'm like, what are you doing? Your job is to be serving someone else, and instead you're saying how great you are.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think I just want to tag on to that, because I think there's also different types of awards. Because if your clients are winning awards from the American Marketing Association, God bless them, they're great, but they're giving you an award based on how beautiful or, you know, not necessarily the effectiveness. So probably if you're getting an award from, you know, I don't know who judges, you know, but so making sure that the awards are coming from the right place is making sure your clients' awards. Because I mean, yeah, if someone got an award for having the most beautiful YouTube channel, I could put that on my wall. I'd be like, hey, yeah, look at my client got the best beautiful YouTube channel, but I'd rather point to the client that got clients.
Right, exactly. This guy, like I talk about it all the time. We have a client who they have grown just astronomical. I mean, it's like the numbers are incredible. That for me is the win. It's not, hey, I got a plaque that I can put on the wall from some other marketer who doesn't care.
Right. Yep.
So what channels socially are you using right now?
So I mean, really, YouTube is my biggest platform, and a lot of people, I mean, it's a search engine, it's the second largest search engine in the world, but it is a social platform. There are comments, there's a community there. They're doing a few things to boost that and add some functionality around community. So YouTube is the biggest. Second biggest probably for me is LinkedIn, because that's where I find my clients. My clients hang out on LinkedIn. So that's the best place to find a life coach, a business coach, an executive coach, something like that. Okay. Yeah, so that's probably my best source.
So kind of going back to another data question, how do you understand how each channel works for you?
Oh man, that's a good question, and I don't have any answer. And
that's really fun.
Yeah, and it's something. I mean, it's like I understand the idea of, you know, I mean, clearly. Like you know, I could understand speaking if I had my CRM set up to know where that person started and when they turned into a client. For the most part, it's just up here. It's like, oh yeah, Paul, I got his business card at that conference and wherever. Right. Or I could probably look it up. But yeah, having that data would be ideal, because you're right. I might think that LinkedIn's awesome, but I can't say for sure.
I didn't say that. I mean, I might have implied that, but I didn't say that.
But I mean, it's true. Yeah, unless you have the data, you don't know if it's working for sure.
Or
how well it's working.
And that's, I think, one of the big things. Like as we started asking people these questions, that's one of the things that I'm surprised at is I use LinkedIn and I do this, I do that. I don't know if it's working or not, but I'm all in. Yep. Kind of a thing. For you, has it just kind of been, I wasn't thinking about it? I mean, you're a smart guy. You know the analytics side of things. It's not like you don't know those things. Is it just a time thing? Is it not I'm not passionate about it, so it doesn't matter? Where does that kind of come down for you?
Well, I think this might be a good question to bounce back to you is the average person needs 8 touches, maybe even more. Yeah. So you can track those touches, but you're probably only tracking the final one. And I think of YouTube especially. YouTube is a top of the funnel platform. Yeah. It's like your blog or a podcast. Not actually, No, blogging a podcast, that's probably even a little bit further down the funnel. But YouTube is the big thing where lots and lots of people are looking, and their first touch with you is YouTube.
Right.
And your hope is to push them through the funnel to become a subscriber, and become a subscriber in your newsletter, interact, and then become a customer. So it's hard to say whether that person also saw me on LinkedIn, and that's why they subscribe to the YouTube channel. So I don't know, maybe you could have thoughts on that.
I do have some. There are actually tools out there that tell you that. So there are tools that we use for clients today that literally will tell me, this guy, we touched him on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, any of these places that we can drop a tag, and most platforms allow that nowadays. We can pull that data in, all the way down to email, organic search, etc. So, and the tool that I'm thinking of is under $300 a month. I don't know about you, but $300 a month is cheap for that kind of information. That used to be $100,000 a month or more, or even unavailable to someone in the small business realm.
Right.
You know, I mean, fortune level only kind of a thing. I think that's to me one of the exciting things about the internet in general is where we've come is all this fortune level technology. Yep. Even HubSpot. We don't use HubSpot. We use Infusionsoft. But HubSpot, what it does from a tracking perspective, used to be 10 years ago fortune only. You couldn't get that data, even if you wanted it as a small business, because you couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And so that we've got all this proliferation of technology that's allowing us to say, as a small business owner, I can buy that for $30 a month.
Yeah.
That's a huge win from my perspective.
Yeah. But you probably also have the flip side of that, which is small businesses might not have the knowledge versus, you know, the enterprise has a marketing department or a accounting department who can then take that data and do something with it, whereas you know, some of us just get a little bit, you know, deer in the headlights.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. I think that's one where we come in, but two, that's where YouTube comes in. Anyone who wants to learn anything about what I know can find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I like to tell people we're probably the only real, true analytical agency in Portland that I know of. There may be someone else, there may be a one-man shop. I've not found it. Everything I find are creative agencies, and that's great. Yeah. Everything that I know, though, I know you can go grab off YouTube. I know that you can go pick up a book and find it. I know that you can have access to this data, because I wasn't born with it.
Yep.
I majored in philosophy in college. You know what I mean? Like, this was not a highfalutin business degree from Harvard. This was, I picked up a book. I watched a video on YouTube, and I started practicing and practicing and practicing. Any small business owner can do that. I think that's kind of, to a certain extent, what you're saying with the coaching that you're doing is you can use any platform, specifically YouTube in this case, to make yourself money. Right. You don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be the next whoever to become a star there to collect clients.
Yeah, I mean, the internet is this great equalizer. Yeah. Like, you know, even if you can't get on stage like, you know, Tony Robbins can, you can get on YouTube. You can get on Instagram. There's so many opportunities out there. When I was down in San Diego, the barista that I was going to every day for coffee, you know, one day we got talking, and it turns out she's got like a couple 100,000 Instagram followers. And she, you know, in fashion, which is her, like, that's her passion, is about fashion, but she's a barista. So it's like you never know who you're going to come across who's already, you know, famous in a niche. And I think that's more important than being famous so everybody knows their name. Right. But if you can show that you're famous and valuable to a certain group of people, that's winning.
Cool. So what would you say right now are the real KPIs that you use in your business on a daily, weekly, monthly basis?
Okay, so I can only answer this question because I have a spreadsheet titled KPIs. And so I'm going through and just essentially tracking different revenue sources, numbers of clients, numbers of subscribers on YouTube and my newsletter, and really simply I'm looking to make sure that the numbers are going the right way. And also then being able to use that to kind of predict out to the future to say, you know, that goal is not, you know, it's not on the path that I'm on right now, or I can easily accomplish that.
So you're using the KPIs you have for predictives to basically say, hey, 6 months from now, here's where I'm going to be at.
Right. Yeah.
Excellent.
Or that's where I want to. It's a lot of like, I'm not necessarily drawing the lines out. Well, every once in a while I draw the lines out and I go, okay, the one that's like the plan might be this steep and where it's predicted, but yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up, what would be the #1 tip you could give a small business owner to help them accelerate the growth of their company?
So I would say with YouTube, or actually let's just go to video in general. Video is huge. Just get on video, especially LinkedIn video is probably the hottest spot to be right now. LinkedIn just recently started their own native video, so you can post videos directly to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn's preferring those. And there are some people out there, this is kind of the early adopters are starting to do a video there. And still, I think just overall, internet video is becoming so much more common. People want that human connection, but we're tied to ones and zeros in a little device. So having your face there, having people recognize your face, being there often, and place to start is on Facebook with your friends. Just go ahead and post a video saying, hey, I'm going to try video for the first time. Let me know what you think, and be kind.
Excellent. And so what, I guess last question here, what is the one thing you've done that has grown your business the most?
So I think that is networking. So we met at a networking event, but it was very specific networking. And this is, it's a bit strange. It's a strange networking group for me to be part of, but it's called eWomen Network. It's 97% women. But some men, they call us emails, so they're like entrepreneurial women, and now we're entrepreneurial males. But I stand out, and it has been a great source, mostly of referrals. So it's a great network, and I think probably the most important thing there is I'm committed to it. I'm involved in the Facebook group. I go to the national conference. I go to their monthly meetings. And actually before this, I just ran into someone, Colleen, down here in Newburgh. I know her through eWomen. So building that network is, and committing to it. That's probably the biggest thing. So choosing one place and staying there.
Excellent. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming down. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
And I look forward to talking again soon.
Great. Thank you.